The hospitality sector has been supported by strong consumer spending over the Christmas and New Year period. But with interest rates still rising and the latest inflation figures out tomorrow, consumers will start to tighten up that expenditure. Joining me now is Katrina Barry, the CEO of Me&u, the hospitality payments platform. Katrina, thanks so much for your time today. Let's just start with consumer spending. Are you expecting it to start to slow down over the next couple of months?
Look, I think every business leader is expecting that, but that is certainly not what we've seen over the last few months. Hospitality really suffered, as we all know, during COVID. We have not seen that this holiday period. In fact, we're up about 80% on food orders, 50% up on drink orders. And I would say the hospitality industry is definitely experiencing very much a boom from those nicely saved COVID nest eggs.
So Aussies are still out there splurging right now?
More so than ever. As I said, hugely up on value through, but in terms of actual number of transactions through our platform, double year on year for our same customers.
Yeah, just talk us through your platform, Me&u. How does it actually work?
Sure. So it's basically like if you see a little, we call them a beacon, or in America they call them the puck. You scan onto that, the menu comes up. It's all beautifully Instagram-inspired, gorgeous look, and you click through on a menu item, and then that gets sent to the kitchen and you can pay automatically through there. So what we're doing is, people call it a cost-saving tool or removing the waiter. That's not what we're about. It's a business transformation tool where hospitality venues can use this to transform their workflow and become more efficient.
And how big's the company? How many employees have you got, and where are your big focus areas around the world?
Yeah, sure. We've got about 140 employees. Aussie startup, 3 years old. But we recently moved to the US and the UK in the last year. So our Australian business is obviously the largest part, and where we cut our teeth and learnt our business. And we've been really pleasantly surprised by how well we're being received in the UK and the US in the last year.
Yeah, your hospitality clients, are they feeling just as confident as you are right now?
Well, looking at their numbers, yes. I think everyone's been very pleased with the Christmas period and the holiday period and the trade that they have seen. I think people were a bit nervous. It was the first Christmas that hadn't been affected by COVID. Mm-hmm. So everyone was very nervous to see what would happen, but I think everybody was pleasantly surprised. Aussies are out there in force, and if COVID taught us anything, it's that we should value connecting with our friends and family, over a glass of wine and a meal. So, we've really seen consumers embrace that.
One thing we have heard quite a bit about recently has been skill shortages across a lot of sectors, particularly retail and hospitality. Is your data showing that at all?
Look, I think the hospitality sector, retail, all those service-based sectors are significantly down on labour, and that's been very widely reported. Hospitality still has a significant shortage, even with the migration starting to come back into Australia. But I think what some of the partners that we work with, they have seen, they don't have the same level or the number of hospitality staff. They're achieving 120%, 130% of COVID sales, but with about 80% of the staff. And that is they're using technology to take out the mundane, the stuff that doesn't add value, so that hospitality people can focus on what they do best, which is creating magic memories and interacting with our guests.
Yeah, I remember back during the pandemic, well, just after it had finished, you still had to sit down in a lot of outlets, order off your phone, order off platforms like yours. How does the demand now compare to back then?
Well, the interesting thing about it is if my 72-year-old mother can now use a QR code, so can everyone in the entire country, right? So we learned how to use this technology. Digital adoption sped up by about 10 years across a period of 3. And consumers have figured out, why would I rather, go and stand in a queue for 20 minutes rather than sit here and chat to my friend for 20 minutes? So they've really embraced that part of the technology and the new way of ordering. Aussies, we're great adopters of technology. And, I don't know the last time you carried a wallet, but mine was about 3 years ago. So having everything on my phone, the ease of paying, ordering, knowing exactly what I'm getting and having it delivered to me, frankly, feels like, 5-star service.
So mainly based in Australia, but also in the US and the UK, there is talk now of a global recession, particularly hitting America hard. Are there any concerns there for you?
I think I'm always concerned. I've been through 2 or 3 recession and crises now, and ebbs and flows, and I think we're always concerned, particularly given the different structural and economic setups in both the UK and the US. We're very, 1 year in, early stages there, but we're very positively received because I think we're so leading in technology. Like many Aussie tech startups, we're ahead of the game on a tech basis globally. And so when you bring that level of innovation and that ability to transform businesses, we've had some businesses double the value of their overall business by implementing this technology and reworking their workflow around Me&u. So when we're able to talk to operators in the UK and the US, they heard as much as we did over the last few years. So they're really embracing that transformational tool that Me&u provides.
And we know employees have worked really hard over the last few years, particularly throughout the pandemic. Are you starting to see any signs of people being burnt out or exhausted at work?
Well, I think we're all exhausted, aren't we? I think, I don't know about you, but we all worked from home and worked a hell of a lot harder. So, I think burnout is absolutely a thing that's part of this day and age, not necessarily anything to do with hospitality or the pandemic. That's something I think, and particularly Aussies, we all work so hard. So I think burnout is absolutely omnipresent in every factor of society, not just hospitality.
Well, Katrina Barry, Chief Executive at Me&u, thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you.